I'm Jarrod Kimber, and with me is cricket's greatest tweeter, Wasim Jaffer, and this is cricket.com's Man versus Machine. Oh, and stay tuned for later, where there may be an opportunity to win yourself a little goodie bag. All right, Wasim, well, it's quite an honour for you to be going up against cricket.com's Criclytics Machine here. You are, we haven't checked this, in fact, based on your tweets, I'm not even sure this is true, but we believe you to be a human male, former cricketer for India, going up against a robot today. Do you think you're ready to take on Criclytics Machine?
I am. I think I am in my mind. I'm ready.
So Criclytics has come up with a few different players here. So for its wicketkeepers, it's suggesting the two top wicketkeepers are KL Rahul and Sam Billings, which I find very interesting because I'm not sure either of them is going to grab the gloves. Who do you think is going to be the best wicketkeeper from this game?
I think both of them are very highly unlikely, like you said, are going to don the gloves. I see Rishabh Pant doing it for India and Josh Butler for England. So both of them, I don't see them wicket keeping for either of the sides.
Yeah, and I suppose we're never quite sure where Josh Butler's going to come in and bat either, are we? Like, there's a possibility that Butler could be pushed up the order, especially if England don't lose too many wickets. Whereas, where do you think Pant's going to bat in this game?
I think I see the likely spot for him would be number 5. That's where probably he batted number 4 in the T20s, but in ODIs, because he was pushed in the T20s, and Iyer batted, Shreyash batted at number 5. But I see the other way around in the ODIs, Pant batting at number 5 probably.
Yeah, I think it's a gentleman's choice or lady's choice there on which wicketkeeper they want. I don't think there's much in it between those two guys. Butler obviously has a little bit more experience, but Pant is an incredible cricketer as well, and he's in some form. On to the batters: Johnny Bairstow, Rohit Sharma, and Virat Kohli. If you were to pick the player who's in the best form out of those three, I'm assuming you're not going to go with Bairstow. I'm assuming you're going to go with one of Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli.
Yeah, Virat had a fantastic T20s. He's when he had a pattern when he gets going, he goes big and he goes for long. So the kind of form he had in the Test matches, he made it up for T20s, and it's a good chance that he's gonna made it up again for the ODIs. So my vote would be for Virat first, and then Rohit, and then Bairstow.
I think the interesting thing for Rohit at this point, and I'm going to ask you because you're like a master coach, you're like a guru of working with batters. Why does Rohit suddenly hit every ball straight back at the bowler? Almost, I mean, you could almost have a straight fielder. If you replace the umpire with a fielder, I think England would have caught him about 4 times in that T20. What's going on with this?
Yeah, I know. Even in Test matches in Australia, there were a couple of chances. That I could see. It just, I think he gets into a good position very early and then he's ready to strike the ball. It's probably one of those where most of the batsmen would stop the ball and defend the ball, and he is in a position to push the ball and it goes in the air. And, he's been lucky that he's been missed few times, but, that's the area probably he needs to work on.
Well, with England and their army of analysts, I would say that I think the only time I've ever seen someone in the ring behind the umpire's head was when Cameron White was facing Lasith Malinga once, about 10 years back, maybe even longer back now. But that might be something for England to literally just have someone, just on the umpire's hip, ready for a return catch there. But I think from Criclytics' point of view, it probably thinks with Bairstow going up the order, back to his normal opening position, that you can get some runs there. And he's been a fantastic opener for England in one-day cricket. Worked his way back into that side. It wasn't even thought of as a white ball player as much at that point. All-rounders. Now, Criclytics it's gone rogue on us here, Wasim. It's gone completely rogue. Criclytics has picked two all-rounders, Hardik Pandya and his brother, Krunal Pandya. Who's the all-rounder that you think is going to get the most points in this game?
I think it's the obvious choice. And Hardik, the kind of form that he's in and the way he's batting and the way he's bowled in the T20s, he's the obvious one. You don't know whether Krunal Pandya will get a game also. And he's not played international cricket for a while. So it's the obvious one that his other brother, Hardik, he's the obvious one.
There's obviously a few other all-rounders in this squad as well. In both teams, I should say. Moeen Ali is certainly someone who remember Owen Morgan did say that Moeen Ali is worth his weight in gold, and at this stage, we have not had him weighed at all because he hasn't been out on the field. So he will probably have to play in these one days. So he's worth looking at as well. And just in general, you can see with the Sam Billings pick and with the Krunal Pandya pick that Criclytics has almost no idea who's going to play in this team, like everyone else in the world. And remember, if you're picking your fantasy teams when it comes to the first game in the series, keep it as late as possible because we could have some rogue selections, and we might talk about them a little bit later as well. Of the bowlers, it's gone with a bowl off here between two interesting bowlers, Adil Rashid and Tom Curran. We only saw Tom Curran play in the one game in the T20 series. Adil Rashid is now an off spinner. That's what I'm calling him, an opening bowling off spinner, as England decided to bowl all wrong and early on. Who's your pick for the bowlers in this one?
I think it's the obvious one again. Adil Rashid, he's a top spinner. Really bowled well in the T20. Surprised that he wasn't picked in the IPL, but he's the guy, in the important moments of the game that Owen Morgan picks to bowl. The crucial moments, the critical moments. So he's the obvious pick in here.
All right, I think we've gone through some of the top picks there, but now we're going to get a little bit contentious, and I'm going to throw the big one at you. We're both assuming that KL Rahul will play in this game. You, my friend, are saying that he should open the batting. You have 60 seconds to put forward your case for why he should open the batting in one-day cricket for India, despite the fact he just got dropped in a T20 series.
Yeah, I think he's been one of the the top performers in the T20s and the one days. Even in Australia, he got runs. I think they need to stick with him because for the last couple of years, even in the IPL, he was the orange cap winner, and he's got consistent runs. Apart from the last 4 T20s that he's played, before that he was the most consistent player of the Indian team, and they just can't overlook him. Even though Virat has come in and opened the batting and got runs, and then he says that he wants to open in IPL or even further. But KL Rahul is a class player, so you need to stick with him. Probably T20 is a shorter format. You need to go hard. 50 overs will give him time, and probably opening the spot is the best option for him because it gives him time. Then you've got Virat at number 3, Shreyash Iyer at 4, and Pant at number 5, and Hardik coming at 6. So I think because KL, what he has done in the last 2 years, you need to stick with him and show the faith in him because when he comes good, he's a class player and he's going to perform at the biggest stage.
Okay, very, very well put. Now, let me tell you why me and Criclytics think you're wrong. Essentially, I think what he needs more than anything at the moment is to bat with a little bit less pressure on him. And I think if he bats at number 4 or number 5, he'll be able to come in. Let's be honest, batting at number 5 in the Indian one-day team is about the cruisiest job you can have in the world. Half the time you come in, it's like 2 for 200, 3 for 250. If you come in further down, I think having a look at the numbers, if he comes in a little bit further down, he can play himself in a little bit. The other thing is, when he's a very fine opener in one-day cricket, whether it's domestically or internationally, you're 100% right there. But I have noticed that his strike rate when he opens is nowhere near as high as it is when he comes in down the order. I think for India, what you really want is him to get back to those glory days, the 2016-2018 IPL days when he was scoring a lot of runs but also doing very quickly. Then he becomes a player that you can't replicate. There are very few players in the world. So for me, KL Rahul should be batting in the middle order, give him a little bit of freedom, make him relax a little bit, put him on an armchair before he has to go out and worry about facing Mark Wood and Jofra Archer, and then go out and then just say to him, you've now got freedom, hit the ball around a little bit. So that's what the numbers say. You've heard what Wasim Jaffer says. Feel free to disagree with both of us in the comments below. Now, Wasim, I know you don't have a huge fantasy, cricket gaming pedigree, but you know cricket and you know who's likely to perform. If you had to pick a lock of the week, this is where we need a prop. I actually need to hold a big lock here. But if you had to pick a lock for this next game, who is your lock? Who do you think is the most likely to get the most fantasy points in the next game?
My pick would be Virat Kohli because the kind of form that he's carried in this T20s, I think he's going to go on with the same form because that's how he plays. I mean, when he goes on for long and goes on very consistently. So my money is on Virat Kohli.
Not the most controversial pick. You have picked the probably one of the greatest one-day players of all time, if not the greatest one-day player of all time. But I can see where you've gone with that. He did look in very good form. I thought he knocked the ball in the last T20. I thought he struggled for about 20 or 25 balls and then really got going. But I've always thought that one-day cricket is his absolute best format.
Yeah, it does give him, because he's not a power hitter like the other players, like Josh Butler or some other players. But when he gets going, his strike rates keep improving. So when he comes in early, it gives him time to hit and settle into a good position. But 50 overs definitely gives him a lot of time, and he can pace his innings, accordingly. And he's been one of the best players, if not the greatest player. He's definitely one of the best players in the ODIs, and that is what goes for him. It gives him time, and as I said, the more he plays into his innings, his strike rates and his the way he plays, it just keeps on improving.
I'm going to go someone slightly less obvious. I'm going to go Bhuvi Kumar because I thought he bowled incredible in that T20 series. He had the ball on a string. Poor Jason Roy looked tormented by the in-swinger and occasionally beaten by the outswinger. I know the figures didn't quite back it up until the final game, but I thought he bowled really well all the way through. I can't remember the last time I saw him bowl this consistently good. There was zip off the wicket at times. He was as accurate as ever. And I think you can get him a little bit cheaper for your fantasy teams than some of the other bigger name bowlers. So I think it's worth having a look at him. Just a reminder though, this is first game of the series. Be careful. Wait to the last minute before you make any decisions. Anyone can play. It's a possibility that Wasim might get called up. I'm less likely to get called up, being that I don't qualify for either team, but you don't know. So hold back your teams. But I think there's some good value out there, perhaps with Washington Sundar, with Matt Parkinson, with Reece Topley. There's a few guys there that haven't played a lot of ODI cricket. If you hear some whispers they might be playing, it might be worth just popping them into the team and seeing how they're going. But now, here is the thing that everyone has been waiting for. I think the greatest two-word phrase in English has always been cellar door, but just behind that is goodie bag. And we do have a goodie bag. If you want to win a bag of goodies, we've made it really simple in these ODIs. Give us your projected score for the first innings team after 40 overs. Not the finished score. No, forget the death. What do you think a team will score at the end of the 40 overs of the first innings? So tell us in the comments below. The first person who gets the score right or the closest to it will win the goodie bag from cricket.com. Oh, you should see it. I think they just give you like a little calculator with Criclytics on it. I'm not sure exactly what's in the goodie bag, but it's very good. And here we go, Wasim, completely on the spot. Didn't tell you I was going to do this at all. After 40 overs in the first innings, what is the score going to be?
I'm going with 265 for 3.
Wow, that is huge. 265 for 3. He's gone high there. This is Pune. He's gone in. I will tell you this. I haven't helped Wasim here at all. In fact, I've probably stitched him up as much as anything. The average score at Pune is 283. So Wasim has gone right through the roof there. I'm going to go a little bit more conservative. I'm going to go 2 for 222, which I don't know why I went so Richie Benno on that, but I have gone very Richie Benno on that. But please put your answers below in the comments. If you've got any problems with anything that either of us have said, just tweet Wasim. Don't worry about tweeting to me at all. He's far better on Twitter than I am. Anyway, like, subscribe, share this content. Me and Wasim are going to be here for all the ODIs. So cricket.com, Criclytics, Wasim Jaffer, Jarrod Kimber, just a match made in heaven. We'll see you after the first game.